Welcome to Mindnificent. In today's video, we're exploring 10 proven techniques that allow you to read anyone's mind instantly. Have you ever wished you could read minds? Imagine the advantages you'd have if you could eavesdrop on the thoughts of others. While psychic powers are still in the realm of the X-Men and fantasy fiction, there are some science-backed techniques and visual cues that can give you invaluable insight into what other people are thinking. Want to learn how to use this superpower to your advantage? Let's get into it. For a lot of people, keeping their thoughts and feelings to themselves comes quite naturally. They're able to lie with a straight face, listen to accusations without flinching, and smile widely, even if they're crying on the inside. It's our truth filter, the face we put on to show the world, and for the most part, it works quite well. But there are a handful of unique techniques and visual cues that we can use to either understand what a person is really thinking or to get the response we need. Number 1. Covering your mouth. Have you ever confronted someone and noticed they are constantly covering their mouth? No, they aren't yawning or covering their bad breath. They're simply trying to stop themselves from saying something they either don't want to or aren't meant to. It can often be quite obvious, and so for this reason, people will even sometimes try to disguise it as a cough or pass it off as rubbing their face. Take special notice of how they cover their mouth and at what points of the conversation are they doing it. This can give you an indication of what topic they are hiding something about. Number 2. Presenting your face. This is something you might have noticed yourself doing from time to time, especially when you're talking to someone you find attractive. Resting your chin or face on your hand is a way of presenting your face to another person. In our subconscious mind, our face is one of our best features, so we frame it in order to try and impress. Interestingly, presenting your face to someone is a great way to get a person to notice you, while at the same time kickstarting those little sparks of attraction. If you see someone presenting to you, don't miss the opportunity to pay a compliment. It will almost certainly be received well. Number 3. Bouncing legs. This next cue can be a little hard to notice, especially if you're in a crowded room or sitting at a table. When experiencing different emotions, some people unconsciously bounce one or both of their legs while sitting or standing. Understanding this can give you insight into how someone may be feeling. But it all depends on context. If you do spot someone doing this, take a look at their face. They look happy. If so, the bouncing up and down probably means they are feeling excited and confident. On the other hand, if they appear tense, worried, or sad, it could be the person is feeling stressed and anxious. Number 4. Rocking from heel to toe. If you ever see a person gently rocking backwards and forward while standing, shifting their weight from heel to toe, anxiety has ramped up a notch and they are feeling extremely uncomfortable about the situation or what is being said. The rhythmic rocking is a kind of self-soothing, and it's working in overtime to try and counteract the stress and anxiety. Keep on the lookout for this telltale sign of anxiousness and uncomfortableness. You might just save someone's day. Number 5. Performing imaginary tasks. This may seem like a strange one when we describe it out loud, but it's way more common than you'd think. Have you ever noticed someone picking at something on their clothing, even though you know there was nothing there? Or maybe, mid-conversation, someone sweeps non-existent dust or crumbs off the table. You probably thought they're being OCD about their cleanliness, but in actual fact, they are just silently disagreeing with what's being said. People unconsciously pick at non-existent lint, straighten items on a clean desk, and perform little imaginary chores because they don't want to tell you they disagree with what you said. It's their polite way of restraining themselves from making a scene. Number 6. Blinking liar. This one can also be tricky to spot, but it's easier if you know the person well already. When people lie, they tend to not only blink at a faster rate, but they also keep their eyes closed for longer every time they blink. Their eyes tend to dart from left to right to assess possible exit routes and will often break eye contact right before beginning the lie. This is to give the liar time to concoct the story on the fly. Liars will also look to the direction of their dominant hand when assessing the imagination regions of the brain. When trying to remember actual events, the direction is switched. Lying is stressful and takes a huge cognitive load on the brain, especially if the person has no time to prepare. The eyes can't help but betray the truth when someone is talking. Number 7. Hands off. The way someone readjusts, places, or positions their hand is a dead giveaway to what is going on inside their head. Fidgeting is a stress response, and people often touch their face and fix their hair when they are being deceptive. But it's not all bad news. If you're in a business setting, or even in the middle of a date and notice the other person rubbing their hands together, you're in luck. When someone rubs their hands together, it means they are hopeful and optimistic about the future. People will rub their hands together when they are thinking about something positive, something that will definitely come in handy next time you're playing poker. Number 8. Body direction. If you're a teacher, you've definitely noticed kids in the back of the classroom leaning way back in their chairs. Aside from being super disrespectful, what does it mean? It's pretty simple. It means they're over the conversation. When people lean back in their chairs or against the wall, they're choosing not to interrupt the flow of conversation, but at the end of the day, they're trying to tell you that they're bored. There is some good news. They obviously respect you enough not to interrupt or walk away, but this one should be fairly obvious. Not just in a classroom setting, but everywhere. On the other hand, if you see someone leaning forward into you as you speak, or turn to face you with both feet pointing directly towards you, it's a surefire hint they are interested in you and the conversation, especially if you're in a group and they engage just you. It's not just a hint for those in the dating world, it's a great way to judge anyone's enthusiasm for you or your ideas. Number 9. Crossed arms. This next one seems to be the most obvious but can often be overlooked. Crossed arms are generally used consciously to demonstrate strength, but subconsciously they can mean something altogether. For some people, crossed arms is just part of their normal everyday posture, but for others, it's a response to situations and emotions the person is perceiving. People cross their arms when they disagree with a situation or what is being said and they are patiently waiting their turn to object. It can also represent frustration, fear, and anger. People who cross their arms in front of them are subconsciously shutting themselves off from the people around them, so best to leave them alone for a little while. And number 10. Rubbing their chin. Villains in our favorite cartoons have been rubbing their chins while hatching dastardly plots since we were kids. It's a caricature that survived hundreds of years. It turns out it's based on some solid behavioral science. When someone rubs their chin, it means they are trying to make a plan, a decision, or walk an idea through their head. Chin rubbers are deep in thought, most likely weighing up the pros and cons of a specific decision. Best to just leave them alone for the moment, as they definitely don't want to lose their train of thought. That is, of course, unless you're on the poker tables. Chin stroking can be a tell that someone isn't confident about their hand. That's all we have time for today. What are your clever mind hacks to know what people are thinking? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit on the bell notification button as more magnificent content is on the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.